Today I'm going to tell you all about the damaging effects that the sun has and the negative effects that it has had on my family. My uncle was about 23 years old when he was diagnosed with skin cancer. This was due to the fact that he went out in the sun without sunscreen, was out there too long, or a number of factors. But he went to the doctors, went through therapy for about a year, and everything was okay. He then went to routine appointments for about the next 5 years just to make sure that everything truly was okay. He was very cautious and was careful in the sun. However, 18 years later from his first diagnosis, he noticed a bump on his arm and thought it was maybe from practicing karate or just a number of factors that who knows what happened. But it wasn't going away, so he went to the doctor and got it checked out. The doctor ran a number of tests and found that it was skin cancer again. However, this time it wasn't just in the area on his arm. It had spread to his brain, his lungs, and his abdomen. So this was a very aggressive form of cancer, and it wasn't looking good. He went through therapy. About 11 months later, he wasn't getting any better. He got very sick, and then unfortunately passed away in February of 1999. Our family was devastated. He was under the age of 50, so he had 2 young kids that no longer had a father. So that was just the effect that skin cancer has had on my family. Imagine the amount of people in America that have had that same effect to them or someone even closer to them. It was found online that 1 out of 5 Americans will be affected by skin cancer each year. So if you think about the average family size, it's about 4 to 5 people. It could affect a number of families, just like it affected mine in this society today dealing with skin cancer. Today, the mindset of Americans is that the sun is no big deal, it's just we're going to a fun weekend activity. But however, that is not the case. It is a very serious issue that people just don't think of as needing to be careful. I found a definition online just in case you weren't sure of the exact definition of what skin cancer is, and it can be defined as the abnormal growth of skin cells, which most often develop because of direct contact or skin being exposed to the sun. The skin cancer basically is caused because of a number of factors, but what I've realized it's the lack of knowledge. People are not aware of how damaging it is, what they need to do to prevent it, and just the steps that they can take to make sure that they are healthy. Another reason is tanning beds. It has been seen in the news for the past year or so that it is becoming an increasing cause to skin cancer because of how dangerous they are. Another reason that skin cancer is becoming so deadly is because people are not taking proper measures, similar to lack of knowledge, but proper measures as the idea that people have right now is that, oh, I don't need to put on sunscreen, it's just not a big deal. But hopefully by the end of hearing all of these statistics, you will think that this is something that you really need to act upon and use sunscreen, be careful when you're out in the sun, and educate others of how serious this is. Coming with educating others, I found a quote that I like to use a lot is knowledge is power, which hopefully I can convince you that this is such a serious disease. It's something that needs to be paid attention to and just realize how dangerous it is. According to the Skin Cancer Foundation, more than 2 million cases of skin cancer are found in this country each year. 600 of those 2 million are deaths that occur in Florida. So 600 deaths in Florida because of skin cancer. Living in the Sunshine State, it is completely preventable to take the proper measures, to wear sunscreen, to be educated. especially living in a sunshine state, knowing that it's such an issue and being exposed to the sun constantly. As many of you know, as kids, getting sunburned, even as adults, sunburns are common and, oh, it's not a big deal. But it is. I found that on the Skin Cancer Foundation website that one or more blistering sunburns in childhood or adolescence more than doubles a person's chances of developing skin cancer. So that sunburn that you got maybe when you were 5 or even 13 could really affect you in the future. And as I said, another thing that people think is that outdoor tanning is the only way you can get sunburn. But indoor tanning is just as bad, possibly even worse. It is just a habit that needs to stop, and even the government has stepped in to help with making tanning a little more difficult to obtain indoors. According to the Skin Cancer Foundation, again, it said that indoor ultraviolet tanners are 74% more likely to develop skin cancer than those who have never tanned indoors. There are 40% of you in this class that have used a tanning bed at least once in your life. It is incredible how much the government has done to, it's either taxing or preventing minors of using tanning beds without adult permission to stop the use of tanning beds, because it is causing major cases of skin cancer found in the United States. Some of the proper measures that people can take to lower their risk of skin cancer is less time in the sun, because only 15 minutes of the sun can be damaging if you don't apply sunscreen, which leads to being careless now and getting damaging effects in the future. Although we are in America, there's an interesting occurrence going on in Australia, which is that 2 of 3 people will be diagnosed before the age of 70. That is a statistic that the United States is not very far away from if they do not take proper measures and just become more aware of how damaging the sun can be. There are 8 people that in this class that said they applied sunscreen when they go to the beach. There are 2 people in this class that say they rarely apply sunscreen when they go to the beach. I hope that these results will change after hearing these incredible statistics that are just not good. The sun should just not be taken lightly, period. It is a very serious matter, and just imagine if people were educated, applied sunscreen, and not went in the sun, not used tanning beds, that in 10 years, maybe we wouldn't see the need for dermatologists, or maybe we wouldn't see so many people dying each year because of skin cancer. But this would only happen if people were more cautious and careful in the sun. Being in the sunshine state, yes, the sun is always out, it seems like. So it's a daily issue, but it doesn't have to be a major issue. Following the steps, using sunscreen, being educated are only a few ways that this can be prevented. It's seriously, but it can be fought. It's serious disease, but if it can be fought, it doesn't have to be serious. You can take measures, be educated, and lower the statistics. Personally, after seeing all that my uncle went through, I enjoy telling people how serious it is, so hopefully they will change their attitude about how dangerous the sun is.